Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with another installment of Mutant Monday. And today we're talking about Inferno, #1. So before we get started on the actual issue, let's take a look at the variants again. I should have looked during the roundup, but hey, maybe not all you watch the roundup, I don't know. Yeah. We will at least give serious thought to the remaining variants to Inferno. So, Inferno. Alright. So we begin with a quote from Omega Sentinel. Someone remembers, it's why they keep coming. The issue begins with Emma presiding over the resurrection of Charles and Eric. In a kind of a parallel to the opening of House of X #1. It's kind of fitting, The first few pages of the beginning of basically having the first few pages of the beginning and of Hickman's run on X-Men and the end of his run on X-Men kind of have the same parallel. We have a threat analysis on Orcus, as well as a map of their an Orcus map, basically designed, kind of Orcus's other. Well, Orcus has forces on Earth, mainly observation. They also have forces off Earth, in orbit around the Sun. Generally speaking, between anywhere from there's Souls Forge in orbit directly around the Sun, closer to the Sun, in fact, than Mercury. There are facilities on Mercury as well as other things within Mercury's orbit as well. There's a minefield between the Venusian and Mercurial orbits, and there's also a Venus. There's watchtowers on the Venus orbit, an early warning system. On Mercury itself, you have mining and a master super factory. You also have a bunker beneath the mining and super factory. The minefield between the two orbits is a telepathic minefield, and of course you have Soul's Forge in orbit around the Sun. On a handful of occasions, 13 to be exact, mutants have attacked the Forge. 2 of these attacks have been carried out by Magneto and failed. Most of these were carried out by X-Force. Some included though saying where X-Force is being a bit broad with things, as some of these involved Mystique infiltrating Soul's Forge, especially via the gate that she planted. There's also been an attack by TechNet as well as the Brute Swarm. But we see another insertion, breach, and attack on the Forge. This time, Kid Omega, Domino, and Wolverine. They're probably discovered by Nimrod. Nimrod takes out Domino with cluster bombs with quantum targeting, which number in excess of the combat area. Where comes Kid Omega. He transfers his rotates sonic shield and phase shift cores into secondary host, then disintegrate target. Then comes Wolverine, which he manages to do some damage, but they destroy him. Disintegrated the flesh from his bones, leaving nothing but a skeleton. And it turns out this has happened a lot. But Director Debo, Dr. Gregor, and Omega Sentinel are discussing what this means, because while Nimrod is finishing off the intrusions quicker and quicker, the intrusions seem to be doing the same, repeating the same pattern. Which Gregor states means they're not learning, so they don't remember what happens. But the Mega Sentinel uses says what's quoted from her at the beginning. Someone remembers. That's why they keep coming, which Moira is who remembers. Next up, we look at Moira's third life, where at the end of it, where and we get a much longer version of the talk between Moira and Destiny. And of course, as was shown in Powers of 10 number 2, I believe, Moira is then killed by Pyro, slowly burned to death. But Moira is, reflecting on the past as well as, But turns out Orcus is monitoring gates, and there's a Paris gate that has the energy up is anomalous. So, at one of their operation centers in Terra Verde, the monitoring team gets in touch with them and explains what's going on. The people in Terra Verde get in touch with their source for the code that they're using to monitor the gates. Horde culture. That's right. Those old horticulture, those old women that love their plants. Yeah. Turns out that the building in question actually has 2 gates, and I think one of Pete Wisdom's strike agents is monitoring the Orcus team in Paris and lets Sage know what she's just heard. But Orcus isn't the only one who's noted the failure of X-Force to take down Nimrod. Well, so Charles and Eric, and so they find they're like, hey, yeah, okay, maybe we've been a little arrogant and kind of not really kowtowing to not really bowing to the fact that you know what the hell's going to happen, and yeah, so. They also reveal that they've been tracking Moira since the Quiet Council was founded. But she doesn't. This does not make her happy. For starters, Moira states that they need to not denying, constantly procrastinating on resurrecting Destiny isn't good enough. Destiny needs the possibility of her resurrection needs to be completely erased, and Mystique will have to be removed from a position of power. The suggestion being, so does a season of change. So the backups are deleted by Magneto. Basically, Magneto. You run a magnet over right magnetic frequency over a hard drive will fuck it up, right? Well, same difference. Same idea. Sinister gives Xavier Destiny's genetic material and he dumps it out. But it does seem that perhaps he has more that he just didn't mention. There's a medical report on Black Tom, which highlights some of the problems they're having, because physically and mentally he seems to be in perfect health. But Dr. Reyes states that Tom is demonstrating psychological behavior that is at odds with psychological tests. Cognitive scans, telepathic probe, and brain imaging suggest that, that he is in tip-top mental health. But Tom seems to be suffering from an increasing number of debilitating psychoses, recursions of his body being consumed by the island, localized phenomena manifesting as loss of feeling in his extremities, and hallucinations of machinery moving under his skin. What's really disturbs her is the fact that Tom isn't so keen to reject those feelings and experiences, but rather surrender to them. However, because as it remains controllable, and because they don't have a way to verify if it's just kind of if it's just normal for Tom to feel that way, Tom's on active duty but under heavy observation. And Cypher, Warlock, and Krakoa commune about the day, with Warlock stating that Bay kind of scares him. And Cypher admits she is kind of terrifying, but he loves her so much. But elsewhere, the captains have come together and it has been decided that as Cyclops is leading the XMen in New York, perhaps it's not a good idea for him to be Captain Commander anymore. And so he appoints Bishop, or he says that Bishop will be the Captain Commander. Also, Psylocke of the Hellions will be replacing Gorgon, as Gorgon is no longer fit for duty as a captain. Emma, while Storm and most of the other council members seem fine with this, Emma not so much objects, but kind of says, maybe you could have, I don't know, consulted with us a little. Maybe we would have some thoughts. We're kind of, in charge of this whole frickin' thing. But they pretty much tell her, yeah, that's nice. That's nice. You're in charge of the government. The captains we captains do our own thing. So yeah. But Bishop is named Captain Commander. Cyclops remains a captain. But yeah. Personally, I think they should have more than 4 captains. In fact, I would even go so far as to say that the captains should each have their own team. Which is kind of, for example, I would say like with Bishop is a member of the Marauders. And under normal circumstances, the Marauders are under the leadership of Kate, Emma, mainly Kate, but yeah, you get the idea. Emma's the officer Emma's the general that sits back and tells the squad leader Kate what to do. Under normal circumstances, that would be how it is. In say what would be referred to as a time of war, in Krakoa, Bishop would be in command. Same with the New Mutants. Magic would be in command in a time of would be the team leader in a time of war. Psylocke is the leader of the Hellions, but you get the idea. So yeah, but so a council meeting is called, and it's decided that maybe it's time to bring some new blood onto the council, and maybe even that some of us can even take some time away to enjoy the fruits of our work. With Magneto even saying that he's actually he's thinking that's what he is exactly going to do. Is just eventually, not right now, but at some point he will leave the step down from the council, but not right now. However, Mystique has business to bring up. In fact, she has a solution for the idea of bringing new blood on the council. A mutant who is who should definitely be considered. It is, of course, her wife, Destiny. Which begs the question, how is it that Destiny is there, because the backups were deleted. The genetic material was seemingly destroyed. Though the smile on Sinister's face does seem to suggest that no, it was not. Mainly because Sinister's not one to part with such a prize. To him, genetic material is, after all, a prize. Now, it should be noted that Destiny is not the only crack in Krakoa. It has been. We have since learned that she, in fact, well before her death, told Mystique there will be an island, not the first but the last. This place will seem to be hope for our kind. When those days come, remember these words: bring me back. And if you cannot, if they will not, then burn that place to the ground. And the issue ends with Mystique asking simply, shall we vote? Now, it should be noted, one of the other major cracks forming would also be involved in the resurrection of Destiny, namely the Five. So, the reason I say the Five are becoming something of a crack in Krakoa. First off, in New Mutants, they decided to completely defy the Council when it comes to the Council's definition of personhood, basically stating that yes, clones are totally eligible to be resurrected. That means yes, Madeline Pryor is in the resurrection queue now, as she is a mutant. She started off as a clone of Jean Grey, but she's a different person than Jean Grey. Now, that's not to say, oh, hey, you've got all these dead Madroxes. Well, let's just let's resurrect all. No, that's a duplicate. I think kind of the one kind of iffy spot would be Blink, because you've got 616 Blink from the Generation Next portion of the Phalanx Covenant. And you have Age of Apocalypse Blink, who is residing on Earth 616. I think they've kind of just been deferring to utilizing 616 Blink on account of the fact that Blink, as we've seen her, does seem to have the facial tattoos that Age of Apocalypse Blink has. So yeah. But also, Hope participated was kind of shanghaied into helping with the enhanced interrogation of Magneto in Trial of Magneto #2. And when Xavier was called away, she woke Magneto up and urged him to leave, as she did not agree with what Xavier had been doing. But, yeah. So, will we be covering Inferno on a monthly basis on Mutant Monday? I'm kind of leaning towards yes. There will definitely be, at the end of it, kind of a look back at the Hickman era, as well as a look at what's to come. But anyway, that's all for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying, live long and rock hard.